Hello, everybody. I'm Eshan Pokhrel,
My name is Cameron Cummings.
and today we are here with the 39th episode of the PB Political Podcast, and we're discussing the FedNow system announced by the Federal Reserve over the last couple of weeks. So, Cameron, go ahead.
Okay, so FedNow was issued by the U.S. Federal Reserve, and it is going to be like a new payment system. It is designed to provide real-time payment services to individuals and businesses across the country. So now, how if you use your card, there's a delay of a few days. When you buy something, the business gets the money, or if you make a return on the item, it takes, as they would say, 3 to 5 days or 3 to 7 days for that money to become returned back to your card. So this will allow people to receive and obtain the payments instantly. So as soon as you swipe your card, as soon as you insert your card, the money will go straight to them. And it's also expected to be rolled out as early as the end of this year or the beginning of 2024. And it's known as a real-time gross settlement, or an RTGS system, and it aims to facilitate instant payment to provide a more effective, a more efficient, and modern payment infrastructure. So what's pretty much that saying, and a lot of people are riled up about, which I can see the concerns for it. One of the major ones just right off the bat is the federal government now has access to see all of your payments. So say I send a payment to Home Depot, they can see that now. At first, they really didn't have access to it. They could if they truly wanted to delve into your banking history. Yes, they could. But just to pick someone out of a hat and try to find out their banking history will be much more difficult. With this, it'd be easier. And that's what a lot of people are up in arms about. So every payment, instead of going from your bank, so let's use Bank of America. So instead of going from Bank of America to Home Depot or Bank of America to Walmart, it'll go from Bank of America, FedNow, and then FedNow would be distributing that to Walmart or Home Depot, wherever you spend money at all.
Yeah. And yeah,
We'll see that unnecessary middleman.
yeah.
Keep money.
And like, I guess the other concern that a lot of people that are very anti-big government or just anti-government in finance, very libertarian people, they would probably argue that the Federal Reserve isn't actually, the U.S. bank. It's not technically part of the government. You know how there's like a lot of provisions around that. So I think that's another concern that a lot of people echo in the in the whole issue of the FedNow. So I guess did you go through the dangers? I honestly have not been able to read through a lot of this, or I've read through the notes, but I've not been able to do my own research. I've been very busy. So can we go ahead again?
Yeah. So, like I said, a lot of people see it as unnecessary middleman. And the U.S., although being one of the biggest world superpowers, is not, they're not above being the person behind a cyber attack or being the victim of a cyber attack. It's been seen to happen multiple times in America. So taking everyone's bank information, social security number, all of that, and putting it into one system makes it easier for someone to attack it, steal everyone's information. They haven't rolled out exactly the specifications of the program yet, but from what we've been given, it seems like it's all to be held under one umbrella. So obviously, cybersecurity risk, increased operational costs. People have said that FedNow will cost money, and a lot of people have said, "Why do I have to pay money?" And there have been different prices been thrown around across the internet. So we're not going to say a price that we're going to just stick with, but there are some lower prices and some astronomically high prices for a service that many people see is unnecessary and unneeded. A lot of people are saying the system works fine just as it is. Why is government people, like Eshan said, libertarian to the government being in finance? Why are they trying to interfere with our market? There's also a lot of data privacy concerns. A lot of people are giving out ways that you could have potentially fraudulent transactions, and there's several monopoly concerns just thrown about as this has been launched. A lot of people have been up in arms. I haven't seen too much support for FedNow. It's been pretty strong, resounding no to the program entirely.
Yeah, I guess people do have a line. I mean, everything being streamlined today with the rise of the internet and just like accessing it at faster speeds is always good. But I think people have found like there's a line, and the line would be, the government or sympathetic parties to the government having almost, all record of your financial transactions. I think it's a thick line that a lot of people refuse to cross from a governmental
Mhm.
perspective. And I think that it's just, I mean, I know they want it to be an efficient and modern type of way to pay for anything, but like I said, I mean, I think people are fine with waiting 2 to 3 days. It's not hurting them as much as this could. I guess if you want to be negative about it, this could hurt you a lot in the long run if if you start, if you're a criminal and or anything really, because you never know. Power isn't given back. We saw that with the Patriot Act in 2001. We saw that with like the war power leaving Congress, kind of abdicating from war powers over the last couple decades. And yeah, so I think that there's like a lot of reasons to be negative about FedNow, and I struggle to see the scenario where it can be seen as a positive, not for the government, but just for the people as well, from a logical liberty perspective.
And a lot of people see it as another step to America moving to be a cashless society. A lot of like national parks, and things like centered around, like national parks, everything like that, had moved to just purely card, no cash. And so a lot of people are seeing that as another step to trying to make America a cashless society. There's a lot of things going around with FedNow, with more information being released every few days. So this whole situation could change, but some of the key features of FedNow is, like I said, an RTGS, a real-time gross settlement system, 24/7, 365 availability. It is operated by the Federal Reserve. It is accessible to all financial institutions, no matter how big or small they are. And it supports end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, I guess there are positives from like a logistical, like as in like the actual system itself does seem to be very well done.
Yes.
However, again, that big block of should the government, I don't like the government personally. I mean, I can say that myself. I would not like the government knowing every financial transaction, not because I'm doing illegal things or anything, just to, I mean, that's not, yeah, it's not for the United States government to know, or any government to really know, to an extent, of course. I think that there's a very tough battle. It's going to be all about the battle. I mean, the public, like reception for this, the public need for this. Honestly, I don't think that's something that I feel like is very overstated by the Federal Reserve right now. I don't think that people need this. I think people
No,
are,
not in the slightest.
yeah, I think people are content with having like a 2 or 3 day charge delay or something, because it's not going to materially benefit their life. Not like in a way that warrants such a change. I feel like. I mean, what do you think?
And I think people are fine with it because the government isn't looking. And like I said, it goes from, if you think Bank of America is an example, Bank of America to FedNow to wherever you bought something. So I think people are fine with waiting the 2 or 3 days. Obviously the businesses aren't hurting. We would have seen that. They're not hurting. They got the money. Uh, people are fine with that system. And I think everyone's fine with that system because the U.S. government isn't, or any government is looking at every single person in the government. And it's not like I'm doing anything illegal, but it's for the sheer principle of it.
Yeah, it's frankly, I mean, if businesses get their money, they're gonna get their money regardless. Like you said, uh, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, honestly, from like a Federal Reserve point of view, I don't know a secretary or who's the director for, I forgot. Whoever it is, I mean, him, and it's a guy, but whatever. I don't think the director of the Federal Reserve or the leader, I don't know the other position title, or Secretary Janet Yellen of the Treasury. I don't know how they're gonna really. I mean, it all comes back to the public backlash or outcry against it, and I don't think it's gonna be positive. I don't see how they're going to actually, like. How do you publicly spin, like positively spin, first thing, you like having the government know all this stuff, especially in like us, especially in states like New Hampshire. They're very liberty based. You know how they are. They're actually they're up in arms about not having the first primary, which is apparently illegal because of their constitution. So there's like a lot of I know there's a lot of states like that. The South, like every state will probably have many detractors against this. And I don't think, I just don't think this is a smart move from the federal government. Just like you said, just a step toward a cashless society. Why do we want to be a cashless society? I love cash personally. I use cash when I can. I don't like using a card. I don't like the whole move toward, it's a modernity, but it's not like necessary modernity.
Yes.
Which,
And I mean, a lot of people are, speculating. So this is not me. This is not my opinion or anything. Or saying they want to do that so they can completely see all financial transactions. And moving towards cash, then you have to use your card or something like that. So that means you'd have to go through FedNow. And a lot of people are concerned about that. There have been a lot of wild speculations about all of it. So it's just been interesting to just sit down and just listen to other people's opinions on it. And I would recommend anybody that's just listening to just sit down and look at FedNow. I was talking to my parents about it, and they had no idea, and they looked into it. Obviously they formed their own opinions. So I'm thinking, telling everyone listening just to sit down and take a moment to just look into FedNow and what they're truly trying to propose.
yeah, and from a logistics standpoint, another one. This is kind of a mess. So if this does go through, this becomes a thing. How do you account for people like tourists who don't have American banks, who don't, they're not American? So like, how do you incorporate traveling citizens of other countries, non-citizens? I'm assuming this will be Social Security linked or something.
Also, wait, no, that's another thing. Everyone has a bank account now. Everyone has access. No Social Security number. Another thing that is just thank you for reminding me. Everyone has access to a bank account. Anyone can open them. As long as you're in America, you can open up a bank. So children, you can open one. If you're undocumented, you can open one. They want everyone.
Oh no, but I'm
to
saying,
have access right now.
like for that, what I turn
I don't
is
see tourists just coming in for a week. But I'm saying people that reside in America, everyone can now get a bank.
and
I know I didn't until I was 15, 16, but now everyone's getting one under their name.
that also brings another
Not
question.
Social Security card.
That also brings another question, like if you're undocumented and you make a bank account and you're living here, and is the government going to know because of FedNow? And this could be it's just honestly, any way I look at it, I see it. I don't think there's no way to not look at it. It's not just like a big increase of the security state we have, and of just like federal government dominance over both state governments, who I'm sure there will be a fight if this goes through. If this is implemented, I'm sure some state governments will have a fight over this in their legislation, maybe take it to court. I don't know. I don't know. Just don't see how this is actually going to be resolved in a way that's really successful for FedNow. I don't think that this can win out, honestly. So I don't even know. Yeah.
And I mean, you would read these in books, it's becoming a big brother kind of thing. I don't know how to I don't think it's a positive thing, in my opinion. I don't think it's a positive thing. I think it's a step backwards. I am one of those people that's very libertarian to the government and finances. But now they're trying to take a more hands-on approach. And I, like many other people, I'm not the biggest fan of it. So to see how they're going to implement it as we get closer to the implementation date, which is around the end of this year, early next year, and then seeing when it becomes more widespread about it. And also, this was also announced not even a day after the founder of Cash App was stabbed.
That's right.
So a lot of that just caused even more people to go up in arms speculating man, he died for what reason for them to call this out right now. So
yeah, we're not saying
I don't know.
We're not saying Bob Lee was murdered by the government. Just to be clear, or anything like that. But
yes, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's just
a lot of it's causing people to speculate.
It was a coincidence, and it's something that honestly, the U.S. federal government is not in a great place right now. There was the big Pentagon document leak, huge, it showed it was bad, and that's what 1,000 pages of documents, something crazy, of just documents about things we've done, a lot about Ukraine, things that we've done to get arms for Ukraine, just a lot of stuff. And I think overall confidence in the government's been dropping since 2008, maybe since 2001, honestly. Maybe before that.
They've been steadily decreasing.
And I think it's going to be a long road back for the federal government. And I know I feel like we're repeating a lot of what we're saying, but we don't have obviously too much detail. We have the plan, but you obviously don't know what it'll look like until it comes. Hopefully it doesn't come, in my opinion. But I think we just wanted to kind of raise awareness for this. This is a system that could be very, It could be positive. Who knows? If every American decides that they're okay with the government, just knowing what they do on a regular basis, maybe it'll be positive. But this is the United States of America. It's not
Most
happening.
people are not.
This is not happening. Like, sorry. Like, and post JFK, really, the emergence of the growth of the CIA and the FBI, and then 2001, obviously, Patriot Act, surveillance growing, all that stuff really puts a bad taste in my mouth for like what this could become to. I think this is something that needs to be raised. I don't know if anybody in Congress has been talking about it. I wasn't really able to look. Been very busy, but I'm sure if you're against this, hey, if you're against this and you feel like your congressman or congresswoman should know, congressperson should know, senator should know, call them, reach out, because this is not something that I feel like should just be looked at and ignored. I think
Swept under the rug.
yes, people should definitely talk about this.
I mean, this is a developing thing. I know me and Eshan, we have several other things we want to talk about as we get closer to like election season. I know Biden announced he is running.
Yeah, he announced, he was like, I'm gonna run, but we haven't announced it or something. It's like the most President Biden way to say it.
Yeah. So more people are slowly throwing their hats in the ring. And this was going to be we knew this was going to be a shorter podcast, just talking about a developing story as quickly as we could. And there are going to be more developments coming out in the coming weeks. So hopefully we can have a podcast just sitting down, talking about an update to this and an update to a lot of the issues going on right now.
Yeah, well said. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry for the short podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. Share the episode, our last Instagram reel on the President Trump's, what do we do? His indictment. That slowly crescendoed and did really well. So thank you guys for sharing it around and, watching it, all that stuff. But we appreciate it. Then go to the website, new articles every week, 2 a week about great stuff from the writers over there. Instagram, good content, full writers there. Cam, do you want more followers? Where can they follow you?
I would love more followers. What you should do is follow the PB Political Podcast. And my Instagram handle is in the bio. So that means it's a 2-for-1 kind of thing. You get to follow me and one of the greatest podcasts out right now on the internet.
That's right. And you get to follow the parent of the greatest podcast on the internet, PB Political. So win, 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 as Michael Scott says. With that, I'm Eshan Pokhrel.
My name is Cameron Cummings.
And goodbye.